Hey guys, Michael Ingledew from TDW. Really sorry that this is late this month. Although it's a quiet time of the year for many, they're all on holiday. We've actually been exceptionally busy here at TDW. In fact, I've just come back from a week in Germany where I've been meeting a number of clients and helping them with a number of tech data related problems. But anyway, that's my problem and not yours. What we're going to do today is go through all of the latest news from the TDW network. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on, and then we will talk a little bit about or answer some of the questions that Lewis has put out here for me to try and answer for you. So let's look at some of the news that's come in over the last 4 or 5 weeks since I've last done a vlog. I've got my notes in front of me here. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody who is giving us exceptional positive feedback on what we're doing here at TDW. I've had a number of meetings with vendors and with TD professionals in the market, and the overwhelming feedback is that you're loving what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how we're trying to freshen things up. In fact, I was walking through Portsmouth in the UK here only 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I bumped into a very old customer of mine, someone I've known for a very long time, and even he said that he sits and watches the videos, although he did say that some of them were a bit long, and we'll come on to that very, very shortly. But they like it, everyone seems to like it, and we enjoy putting it together. It's great fun. So let's go through some of the news. So Seville update, I haven't yet fully decided what I'm going to present on, but I believe that it'll be something along the challenges facing the information supply chain. Some of the stuff that we at TDW are seeing that you guys are facing when it comes to supporting things like specification driven or IETP driven data production. So I will also, whilst I'm in Seville, this came from a meeting with a client of mine who can't make it to Seville but would be interested to see what's going on, is I'm going to run a blog while I'm out there. It'll be a video blog like this, and I will give daily updates on what's going on at the event, what kind of things I'm seeing. Is there anything new, any new vendors, any vendor news that might be interesting? So keep an eye out for that. We'll post those daily to YouTube whilst we're out in Seville. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and you will see that whilst I'm out there. And it should be good fun, and hopefully the weather will be great and you can be virtually in Seville with us. Those of you who are members will know now that TDIQ, the new platform, is finally here. We finally released it. We've done months and months of testing, wanted to make sure we had the right platform. We did make a last minute product decision that meant that we moved to a slightly different platform, but it gave us much more power and capability in delivering training assets to you and your team. We do have a number of people in there already using it. We can see which courses are resonating, which ones are not so interesting, so they're the ones that we'll focus on and keep developing for you. So you can check out TDIQ and the courses that are on there. There's about 40 odd hours of courses and videos up there right now that you can access. The TDW field study that we're producing on behalf of the UK MOD is making progress, not as fast as we would like. If you're still interested in getting involved with that, you can now go to techdocsuk.co.uk and have a look at what the study is about and what we're trying to achieve, and you can register your interest on that website. We will be announcing, or we will be updating the market on what's happening with that at our conference later on in the year, but we really are wanting to push this forward as quickly as possible. So if you would like to get involved with the field study, and specifically you're interested in UK defence data, then that might be a study for you to get involved with. So please do take a look at techdocsuk.co.uk. Welcome aboard BAE Systems Trilogy, who have joined us as a member. They will also come to the conference at the end of the year and they will exhibit. Welcome on board. Finally, to Mekon. Mekon have joined us as a member. Those of you who know, Mekon have a high caliber in editing software and publishing software around specification-driven data production. And we will be working closely with Mekon, helping them. They've actually loaned us some software for some of our training that we will be using over the coming weeks and months. A huge thank you to the guys at Adobe. The guys at Adobe again have backed the conference this year, as have Mekon. They have backed the conference this year, but they've also extended their support for TDW right into next year, right into 2017. And, you know, we thank those guys for that. And we will continue to support helping promote what Adobe's about in this particular market. I thought there was some rather somber news only this week that came out, which I thought was worth another mention, was the Shoreham air disaster, which the anniversary was just earlier. I think it was late last week or early this week. And, you know, why is that interesting? Well, because it was found that for that old aircraft that the technical manuals were actually out of date. And I thought that was, you know, that was quite pertinent for obviously what we do, but it was quite interesting that, you know, the CAA and the Aircraft Accident Investigation Board here in the UK actually cited that a large contributing factor was the maintenance manuals were out of date. Even on these older aircraft, they're still being maintained. And, you know, a lot of people died. And you know, TechDocs was cited as a fundamental factor why the accident came about. And as you know, accidents are a perfect storm of a number of different contributing factors coming together. And it just happened that TechDocs was a contributing factor to that particular disaster. So rather somber, but I think a wake-up call and a reminder for organizations that how important what we do in our market and how important what we do in maintaining the safety of our users and the general public. Big news that came out last week. I got a call from Gary at Aspect Supportability. Rheinmetall Technical Publications have announced the acquisition of Aspect, and Gary called me and said that, you know, they plan to continue their support for TDW, and you know, this is quite an interesting development because I believe that, you know, obviously widens the gambit of services that are available to Rheinmetall Technical Publications customers, and I believe it's a nice match, and it will be good for both parties. So congratulations to the guys at Aspect. Well done to the guys at Rheinmetall who have grown their portfolio of skills, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes ahead over the next few years. Whilst I was in Germany, I thought this actually was really interesting, is that, as you know, I get pretty excited and animated about tech data and TechDocs, and I was staying in a hotel that once you've had breakfast there for a few days, it gets a little bit boring. So I took my own American bagels with me and a toaster. And when I opened up the toaster, because I hadn't unpacked it before, I found the user guide, and I thought the user guide was absolutely brilliant. The first page, it says, ignore, fail, read, succeed. And this kind of got me thinking about how are we engaging our users? And this is this is one of many examples of the kind of things that organizations put on the front of their technical information. And so I'm going to do a short tutorial on engaging our end users, because it actually made me pick it up. It actually made me think, well, you know, it's only a toaster, but you know, actually I picked it up and I flicked through it. So it did what it was meant to do. It engaged me to want to use it. So look out for that. Hopefully that'll come out later on this week. Thank you to those who are involved in the new Specnophobia website. You know who you are, giving us early feedback on the interactions that we're providing in terms of specification support and how you can use and interact with specifications. Specnophobia is a part of the magazine that we answer some specific technical questions around specifications. But we are now making Specnophobia website a interactive way of accessing learning and education resources for specific specifications. And those of you who are involved with that, thank you very much. We hope Specnophobia will be ready by TDW Live at the end of the year. If you want more information on Specnophobia, you can get in touch with us here. But you know, we've invited only a few members to give us their feedback, people that we know who are heavy into specification use and could do with using such a tool. So that's kind of the updates. The TDW magazine, we have started production already for the end of September. So if you are contributing to the magazine for the next issue, please make sure that you get us your articles online on time. We had to drop a couple of articles last time because they were just far too late. Now we will try and move them into this issue. The problem with the magazine is it's getting bigger and it fills much quicker. Now if you are wanting to change your advert, or if you're wanting to advertise or something, please do get in touch with us at memberservices@techdataworld.com. And we will send you the marketing pack and you can take a look at that. So TDIQ, some of the latest courses that we've done over on TDIQ is understanding the S1000D process. So we've taken the S1000D process and we've broken it down into something that says, this is the theory what S1000D says, but this is a more practical approach to an S1000D project. And we do that in I can't remember how long the tutorial is. It's not massively long, but we, based on experience, tell you what the best approach is to your first S1000D project. We've also done a course on understanding the S1000D data management lists, and we've focused on the role of the CSL and the DMRL. The course that's going live later this week is scoping a data module requirements list, specifically for those guys who are not coming from an ILS background, understanding the tools that we use here at TDW for scoping out organizations' DMRLs and the data management requirement lists or the data module requirements list, depending on what version of S1000D you're using. So check that out. That'll be quite interesting. We look at some of the software that we use, and some of it's free, and we talk about some of the challenges and how you can actually scope out your DMRL quite successfully using some run-of-the-mill software that is available out there on the big wide web. Some courses that we're working on right now, which will be released over the next coming weeks: understanding the different graphic formats. So one of the big questions that we get asked is, do we have to use CGM? You know, no, you don't have to use CGM. There are other graphic formats available, and there are lots of reasons why you wouldn't want to use CGM. And so we produced a course on understanding the different graphic formats. That's going through QA right now, and it will be available in the next week or so. We've also put together a course in understanding XML. Now, of course, you can go to YouTube, you can go to wherever and see lots of things on XML. We've actually delivered a course that's looking at XML as it pertains to aerospace and defense specification-driven production. So we're actually leaning the XML learning to the specifications that we use today in our market. That'll be live in the next couple of weeks. There's already a course up on TDIQ on understanding XML, but this will be much more targeted and focused on the specifications that you are using today in your workplace. So that's all the news and courses and all that kind of stuff. Lewis has put together some questions here that we've received over the last 4 or 5 weeks, which I will try and answer. Some I've seen, some I haven't seen. We send our magazine on a circular and as many organizations do, and it often does not make it back to me. Can we get a second copy? Yep, if you're a subscriber and you're a corporate subscriber, we do this already for a lot of organizations. If you are a TDW member company or you're a subscriber and in a vendor subscriber to our magazine, just let Claire know at memberservices@techdataworld.com, and she'll slot in a couple of extra copies for you. We have we get thousands printed, so it's not a problem for us to slot in another issue for you. But it's great to hear that you are delivering or you're sending it around your organization. That's absolutely brilliant. That's what we want to hear. So yeah, just let Claire know and how many extra copies you would need. Obviously, if you want 100 copies, that's not going to happen. But if you want like 2 or 3 extra copies, no problem. Is the only way to achieve IETP delivery for our customers using S1000D? Okay, the question you're asking is, do you have to use S1000D to deliver an IETP? Okay, we've got a couple of courses on this on TDIQ. The reality is that a lot of vendors have spent a lot of time and money producing IETP solutions around S1000D. So therefore, the more comprehensive and solid IETP solutions are based around specifications, whether that's ATA, whether that's S1000D, whether it might be, another specification. Can you deliver electronic data without using S1000D? For sure. You can do that using DITA. You can do it just using HTML5. You can do it in lots of different ways. If you are wanting to achieve, before I would say to you, use S1000D or don't use S1000D, I would need to understand, what kind of partners and suppliers you're dealing with, how you wish to filter data to your customers, those kind of things. But to answer the question at its essence, if you want to deliver electronic data, you don't have to use S1000D, but there are lots of other external factors that might push you towards using something like S1000D. Do you run courses on XML? I've just talked about that. You can go to YouTube and there are hundreds of videos and tutorials on XML, but what there are not are XML courses focused on the aerospace and defense tech data professionals. So we're looking at releasing in the next week or two the understanding of the XML in a specification driven environment. So that will be available soon via TDIQ. It would be much more cost effective for you to sign up to TDIQ than it would be for us to come out and do an XML course for you. But if you wanted us to come out, we'll come out, no problem at all. This came from the chap that I bumped into in Portsmouth. You know who you are, I won't name you. Love your videos, but some of them are a bit long. Maybe you should do some shorter ones. Can you shorten them? In short, yes, we can shorten them. Unfortunately, like for example, this one, we're going to do a 10-minute engaging your users. And we will look at that very shortly in doing some short, sharp 5-minute, 10-minute things that you can watch over a coffee. And we don't know yet whether we're going to do that under the branding of Specnophobia, because we think that would be a little bit more short, sharp, coffee break type tutorials. But we will certainly do that. And thank you. It's really nice to know that you're watching them, even though you particularly are not directly involved with tech data anymore, but you're saying you watch them because you like watching them, which is great. Do you plan to offer certification or accreditation for your training? The answer is yes. We're talking to a couple of professional bodies as we speak about TDIQ as it is today and where we want TDIQ to go. And we want TDIQ to be a kind of a badge of honor that if you move from job to job, that you can say, I've done these TDIQ courses, and these TDIQ courses cover these subjects and topics, and it gives your future employer or your customers the confidence that you actually know what you're talking about. So to answer your question on accreditation for our training, absolutely, that's where we're going. We're talking to a couple of organizations right now. on maybe piggybacking on what they do, or do we do our own thing here at TDW? So we're looking at that right now. We are new to specifications. Can you tell us the difference between S1000D and ship decks? We've done an article for the next issue of the magazine on ship decks and what ship decks actually is. To answer the question in short, ship decks is nothing more than a tailored version of S1000D for commercial shipping. And knowing the sector that you're coming from, it might be interesting, but you need to understand that it's very tailored. It's very limited in what it offers the users. But we have sent a message over to the ship decks guys asking if they want to answer the question. We haven't had an answer yet, but we will look at that over the next few months, maybe put something on TDIQ on ship decks. But you should get the magazine. There'll be something in there on ship decks. In fact, because you asked the question and we're putting it in, you'll get a free copy of the magazine this next quarter. So that'll come out to you. So just make sure we got your address. This came in via LinkedIn to me. I am struggling to get the right job in technical authoring in aerospace. Can you help? Okay. Normally I ignore these kind of questions because I get inundated with people who are looking for their next job or are looking for moving out of a large corporate into a smaller company or whatever it might be. But this guy, I could see on your LinkedIn profile that you actually don't sell yourself particularly well. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a tutorial on the 5 things that an employer looks for on your tech data CV. And we will make sure that that comes live. We'll make that free on YouTube. And we're going to do that over the next couple of weeks. We've already got it outlined. We're going to put it together. And we will say the 5 things that should be on your tech data CV and the sort of things that me as an employer would look for, and some of the things that I know the market is looking for. Okay, so I'll answer that question for you, but in a separate tutorial. Do you do resourcing? We need authors and illustrators. Kind of apt, right? The guy before asked me about getting the right skills on his CV. And we need authors and illustrators for a new project. We at TDW have not wanted to get involved in the resourcing of projects. Okay, we didn't want to become a recruitment agency. We didn't want to become anything along those lines. However, we get lots of questions about skills, about availability of skills. Can we manage some projects for organizations? So we are, for members, we are announcing very shortly the TDW skills database. And we are encouraging, right now, we're encouraging our network of Claire and Lewis and a little bit of Jamie are spending time connecting with technical authors and illustrators in the aerospace and defense sector and getting them to register on the TDW skills database. And what that means is that we will then make available to members the ability for you to be able to find skills via our network much easier. That will be coming live very, very shortly. It's something that we've been working on under the radar for a very long time. And, you know, we will announce that very shortly. So that's it. It's not such a super long one. There you go. The guy in Portsmouth, it's not a super long one this time. I've kept it short and sharp. Keep an eye out this week for the Ignore, Fail, Read, Succeed short tutorial, which we will be recording. I think it's tomorrow morning we're recording it. The issue of engaging our end users is something that we talked about a lot when I was in the software sector. And one of my old business mentors had some ideas around that, which I will table during this particular tutorial. Remember, you can subscribe to our channel. You can create your free account over on the TDW members area. That's absolutely free. You go in there, you get some extra resources, you get access to some other tutorials. If you are a full TDW member and you want access to TDIQ, then get in touch with us at member services at techdataworld.com. That is available to our members. You can get access to that. Remember, you can also subscribe to our magazine. You can send in a request or go to the link on our website. We'll send you a sample, or you can just sign up and get a copy of the magazine. Hope you found it useful. Keep an eye out for the tutorials that are coming out later this week and early next week. If you're in Seville, look forward to seeing you in Seville. If you're not, make sure you sign up to the blog that we're going to run from Seville, and it will be posted on our YouTube channel. As ever, if you've got any comments, feedback, suggestions, then please do get in touch. Cheers. Bye.